Welcome, friends. It's your old pal, Sir Nigel. Today we're going to play some Maniac Mansion, which is the game that started it all for me. It's the most classic graphic adventure game there is. So it is a graphic adventure game. Some people call them point-and-click games. It's one of the earliest, if not the earliest graphic adventure game, and it's certainly the first game to use this sort of interface style. So to begin with, the game starts like this, where you have to pick which characters you want to take with you into the mansion. Each character can do different things, so it gives the game a lot of replay value. So normally I choose Sid. You can see his little information at the top of the screen there. And Bernard, president of the physics club. This game was released for a variety of different platforms, but this is the Commodore 64 version because this is the version that I originally played. We're going to watch the full intro because it's fun and fantastic. So let's start the game. Okay, this looks like the old mansion. I'm sure I saw Dr. Fred take Sandy here. It's up to us to get her out. This could be real dangerous. If anyone wants to back out... Okay, I'm out of here. Bernard, don't be a tuna head. It's Sandy we're talking about. Okay, let's do it. And this is the game. Okay, let's go rescue Sandy. Now this is the interface of the game, as you can see. In more modern graphic adventure games, areas you can interact with automatically highlight as you move the mouse over them, or the cursor or whatever. In this version of the game, you have to use the what is command in order to do that if you want to explore what on the screen you can interact with. So you can see on this stage, all you can interact with is the sign. So we're going to read that sign. Warning! Trespassers will be horribly mutilated. Such a lovely thing, isn't it? You can also switch between the different characters as you play the game, which you will need to do in order to fully complete the game. Now, there are all sorts of things you can do outside here. For instance, you can remove the bush, you can ring the doorbell, and there's other things you can do too. We're pretty much going to get right into the game. I have beat this before, so I kind of have an idea of what you're supposed to do in order to beat the game with this set of characters, but there's really a lot you can explore and a lot you can do. So when you pull the bushes, that reveals a grate. Just for the fun of it, just for the heck of it, we will ring the doorbell, just so you can see what that does. Oh, the doorbell! I wonder if that's my package. Now you can either hang out here and wait until the guy gets to the door, or you can scram, go somewhere else. We'll just hang out here for a moment and wait for the guy to come to the door. As he walks through the mansion. I think we can actually use the doorbell again. Oh, here he is. Can't you read the sign? Now get out of here! Okay, so obviously that's not how you get into the house. Give him a few seconds to actually get back up to his room, and the way you get in the house is like this. And there we are. So all of these things you can explore. It's the correct time. Very nice. Instead of trying to set a specific time for the game. So this is the lower level of the mansion. Now we can go in here. On the version of the Commodore 64 game that I originally played, there was a bug in this part of the game. I'm not sure if this copy of the game will exhibit the same bug. Let's find out, because this is the kitchen. Normally you go in here and one of the other characters is in the kitchen, and then if you... Oh, here we go, little cutscene. Well, my dear, hope you're having fun. Within minutes it'll all be over. You'll be hooked up to my machine, getting your pretty brains sucked out. You'll never get away with this. Dave and his friends will rescue me. You and your meteor can eat slime. That's what she thinks. Hey, hey, hey. Help, help, help! So, normally, if you go into the kitchen, there's another character there, and they come after you. You can leave the kitchen, and then go back in again immediately, and then the other character will start walking towards you and disappear. So I don't know if that'll happen in this version of the game. Here's the lovely kitchen. There she is. Want some food? Come here, dearie. And then you run like crazy. Or you do that. How silly of me. I should have tied you to my bed. Well, that's okay. In the version that I played, you can actually run out of the kitchen and turn around and go right back in. And then she starts walking towards you again, and then she just disappears. But it looks like in this version, they may have fixed that bug so she can actually grab you. So now you're in the dungeon. And there is a way to get out of here, but it uses two of the characters in order to do it. So basically, one of the characters needs to stay in the dungeon now. And it might as well be the main character because he doesn't really have any special abilities or uses. But the way you get out is there's a loose brick right here. See right there, loose brick. But let's try to... Is there a talk to? I can't remember. What is skeleton? Push skeleton. I wonder if I know him. There's also a code. No, there's a code in somewhere else in the game. You have to use a telescope. Anyhow, secret lab. Very secret. So, like I was saying, in order to actually get out of the dungeon, you have to push this loose brick right about here. And what that does is that opens the door over here on the right. But it only opens it for a little bit, so you need one of the other characters standing right in front of it in order for them to be able to get out. Because if you tried to push the brick and then run, it doesn't give you quite enough time to get there. So you have to use two characters to do it. So now we need to switch to one of the other characters so we can continue the game. Now the kitchen and that whole area will be accessible to us. We can pick up the flashlight. I wonder if we can open the flashlight. I know there are batteries somewhere in the game. I didn't think so. And you can open the microwave and do things with it that we're not going to do in this playthrough. I think the oven is stuck shut, or the stove. You can see that this is blood, and a chainsaw and very dull knives. It's the dull knives that are stuck to the rack. They're glued to the wall, but you can pick up the chainsaw. Yuck! Of course, you can turn on the faucet. We'll get some stuff out of the refrigerator. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? We have cheese, old batteries, lettuce, can of Pepsi, and broken bottles of ketchup. Now, I believe you use, if I remember correctly, the battery in the flashlight in order to view a certain part of the game. Or at least that's one use you can use it for. We'll just pick up all this stuff. And just to be tidy, we'll close the refrigerator. And the dining room. Gee, I'm hungry. So that's your clue that he's about to come down to the kitchen. Now, you don't want him to grab you. So you stay out of the kitchen right now. I always thought this part was kind of funny. You try to pick up the stain. This is supposed to be a stain here, I think. Anyhow, let's just pick this up first. There's the stain. Tum-ti-tum, dum-de-dum. Where's the cheese? So that's another hint that he likes cheese. Something good to keep in mind. Maybe the stain is somewhere else? There it is. There's the stain. Pick up the week-old roast. And when you try to pick up the stain, the gravy stain, I don't do tablecloths. Yeah. I always thought that was kind of funny before. And now you have the storage area. Great, very, very important room. And you can see what everything is. We have a bottle of developer, a tentacle chow, important to keep in mind, canned goods, fruit drinks, and a glass jar. So, as always, like with most graphic adventure games, you want to pick up all of this stuff. Whoops. Now that's important. See, it fell right on the grate. So keep that in mind. If I remember correctly, I think you might need a key for this door. Yeah, that's what I thought. That leads to the backyard area. We'll fill the glass jar with water, I think. I'm trying to remember if there are any other uses for the glass jar later in the game. I don't think so. So now it's a jar of water. One thing about this game, one of the things that makes it more unique among the graphic adventure games, is a lot of the later graphic adventure games are much more linear, where everything just has one specific use, and there's really just one specific way to get through the game and get through the story. But in this game, there are some things that have more than one use depending on how you use them, and there's more than one way to get through the story depending on which characters you use and what you do with them. So it really has a little more dimension even than some of the later graphic adventure games. Now we'll explore other areas of the house, and I just remembered what you use the water in the glass jar for. It does solve a particular puzzle that I just remembered, so we'll get to that much later. There are so many things you can do in this game, so many things you can explore, that if you're playing this for the first time and you're trying to explore everything, the game can take hours. An old-fashioned radio and a cabinet door. It's just hiss. Cassette player. There's no tape in the player. The cassette player is used for something else. I don't think you really need it to complete the game. So inside the old-fashioned radio is a tube. We'll get the tube. Oh, this is one thing you need Bernard for, because he's the one being more familiar with technology and things. He can remove the tube from the old-fashioned radio, whereas the other characters can't. See, pick up tube. I don't know how this stuff works. So this is one area where we need to get Bernard in here to collect the tube from the radio. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. There's this key right here. Right here, hidden in the chandelier. And I just remembered the puzzle that we need to solve in order to collect this key. Just to be sure, we'll try to pull on the chandelier first. So remember that the key is here. I believe this is the key for the back door. So remember this is here, so we can collect it later. This is one area where you can use the flashlight if you want to. You can put the batteries in the flashlight and use the flashlight to help you explore this room. But the first time I ever explored this room and played this game, I didn't use the flashlight. I just got through the room by using what is instead. So that's the way we'll do it this time. Right there, what is lamp? Because he loves lamp. Where's turn on? There it is. And then you don't need to use the flashlight. Staircase out of order. So there's a lamp, the staircase. A very nice little library, you have to admit. Do some more what is in this area. Chuck the plant. Chuck the plant. I think you can use the water on Chuck the plant if you want. And I don't think it really matters if you do, because you can always go back and refill the water jar later. Loose panel, the phone, and the chair. So here is what we will do. We'll use the jar of water on Chuck the plant. I guess you can't. Can we pick up Chuck the plant? I don't think so. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, that's Chuck the plant. Oh. Daddy's been acting very strangely ever since his secret project in the lab. Yeah, so? Well, Mommy, I'm worried about him. He hasn't been at dinner for 5 years. Yeah, so? And he's been bringing those bodies down into the basement late at night. What's your point, Ed? I am a very busy lady. Never mind. Open the loose panel. Here's a cassette tape. Strange place to keep it, but it's good to have it. Now, let's try to use the phone. There is a way. I'm trying to remember. There is a way to use the phone. I think that's another thing that Bernard has to work on and fix, if I remember correctly. Fix phone with... Yeah, he doesn't know anything about electronics, so this is another puzzle for Bernard. Now, I think that we have played enough for this particular part of the playthrough. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you have found it interesting. If so, join us again for more of Maniac Mansion, where we will continue to play the rest of the game. So if you did enjoy, subscribe, follow, like, all of those things are wonderful to do, and tune in again next time for more fun.